Hi everyone, it's Dave here and I'm with my wife, Cathy.
Hello. Hi, Dave.
Hi Cathy. How have you been?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Long time no see. So we're doing the Cinemile. If you're a first time listener to the Cinemile, it's where we're walking to the movies and then we're going to go see a movie and then we're going to walk home from the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
It's super intense. Strap in. It's going to be a roller coaster ride, everybody. Today we're going to go see The Incredibles 2.
Or Le Incredible Part 2.
Yeah? For all our French listeners.
I don't think that's right.
What spurred you on?
Apologies.
Say it again?
I just wanted to say Part 2. I'm
Wouldn't
sorry.
it be Incroyable?
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Les Incroyables.
Yeah. Anyway, we're really
dear.
excited because we're going to a press screening, and usually these are during the week and we never ever have gone to one before, but this is on a Sunday morning and kids are invited, so we're super
Oscar's
excited.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's asleep, so
He's
keep it
asleep,
down.
and it'll be really fun because this is the kind of movie. Hopefully, there'll be loads of kids there, and you get to see the kids' reaction because that's the whole point of these kind of movies is to watch them with children. So
Yeah,
that should be good.
So, Cathy, what's your relationship with Les Incroyables?
Well, part one, I didn't really remember, and to me, actually, it's one of those movies I'd forgotten was a Pixar movie. It doesn't feel like a Pixar movie to me. It's not.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. To me, The Incredibles is always just kind of in the back of my mind. I mean, I saw it a long time ago, and I didn't see it in the cinema.
2004.
But, I don't remember when I actually saw it, but it doesn't have that originality of like a Finding Nemo or a Toy Story or an Inside Out. It just, to me, I guess I was never that into superhero stuff, and I never particularly cared for the characters, albeit I don't mind the movie. And then we rewatched it last night, and we only got about halfway through because I just got a bit bored of it. It just doesn't.
We were very tired.
We were tired, and I don't know. And I get that at the time when it came out, it was before all the superhero fatigue that we now feel.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You said I don't think it's fair to say that it's not as original as a lot of the other Pixar work. I think it plays in very well-mined territory. It's very much a parody of, or a little play on a lot of superhero tropes that we know and love. And it was interesting watching, half of it again last night. It would have felt very, very fresh, and I remember it feeling very fresh and funny and exciting in 2004. But you're right, because superheroes have been a constant cinematic presence since then, and even a bit before then. We're in a lift now, so prepare for some echoing. And because the other thing is superhero parodies and comedies have been mining this thing to death for the last 15 years as well. So I'm thinking Kick-Ass, oh my god, what else?
Wow, for someone who loves superhero movies, you can't think of anything. But that's what I mean, there's too many of them. They're all very derivative, and I know this was done before all that, but just watching it again last night, it's not one of those Pixars where I'm like, oh, the animation's beautiful. It's not one of those Pixars where I think, in so much as we watched the first half of it last night, that the kids particularly stood out to me. I didn't actually like the dynamic they were positing with the dad just being this horrible, moany, unsupportive person while the mother did everything. And a friend of mine, funnily, had shown this DVD to their kids and said that the little boy in particular had become like a little bit more aggressive after watching this movie to his little sister, because like it is a violent movie, which I found interesting.
Is that because the brother and sister in the movie are sort of fighting as well?
Yeah, so she said it was interesting that she actually stopped her kid watching the movie, because you know the way kids will watch movies 100 times. She took it out of the DVD rotation.
Took it out of the DVD.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
I disagree with you. I think the setup is very interesting for Mr. Incredible. You've got him, and this is a very relatable sort of midlife crisis. Someone who is obsessed with former glories, can't recapture that, is in a job he doesn't like. As such, his family life isn't satisfying him. We need to go up those steps. Actually, there's a lift on the other side. Look.
Okay, yeah.
I think. His family life as a consequence is suffering because he's not paying enough attention.
But is that a weird plot for a kids movie though? Like it feels a bit.
It's surprisingly adult.
Yeah, I don't know that I like the plot of it for a kids movie. But I think we're rambling on a bit. I mean, we're only at the intro of this podcast and we're currently reviewing the first movie that we both
I think
watched
you'd have
last
to
night.
review the first movie to... anyway, look, I don't know a lot about the sequel. I know it's got the same director, Brad Bird, and writer, who I think is let's face it, no, we're going up.
Oh.
Is a total genius. Man wrote and directed Iron Giant.
Love Iron Giant.
Ratatouille, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, one of the best Mission Impossibles.
Yeah, that was a decent Mission Impossible.
So I'm quite excited for this, and it's also interesting to get a sequel 15 years
it's
later.
Weird. It's like, who was asking for
14
this?
years.
No, I would say nobody was asking for this.
That's what I wonder, right?
Yeah.
So the kids, and any kids in today's age, didn't see this.
Oh my God, this lift
number
stinks.
2. Didn't see this in 2004. Now, presumably, unlike your friend, it's been on heavy DVD rotation.
Yeah.
But I wonder, with kids and Pixar stuff, what, does this only go up? Oh my God, we're having such a lift. With kids and Pixar stuff, it's always about how merchandisable the property is,
and
right?
I don't know if this was heavily
Which is
merchandised.
why Cars is the number one Pixar movie
And has had 8
for
movies.
kids. And there's all these spin-offs and all these kind of things, whereas it's the probably one of the least well-regarded movies by adults, I would think.
Yes, for sure.
But I think The Incredibles plays very well with adults, and I think a lot of fans, adult fans of Pixar, would hold this in very high regard, because not only does it play with the superhero genre, it plays a lot in the spy genre as well, so there's a lot of James Bond tropes as well.
And I mean, I think that a lot of that will go over kids' heads, and kids will just enjoy that they're at a cartoon, and it gives an extra layer to the adult viewers.
Yeah.
But I think I hope that I like this one more, and I'm also interested to see, because we did feel watching it last night that the animation was quite dated on the first one. So I wonder, well, how far after the first one this will be set, right? Because we don't know that, because I haven't seen a trailer. Have you?
I have, and I know that the baby is still a baby, so...
Okay, so spoiler for me, thank you.
What's a spoiler? That's not a spoiler!
I just said I don't know how far after this is set.
It's not a spoiler that this movie is set just after the last movie.
Well, it is, actually, because I thought it might be set 15 years later.
I'm sorry. Plot synopsis. That's be in the plot synopsis.
And then secondly, I'm wondering if they'll have updated the animation, or if the animation will be the same, because surely they'll have made it look better now, given how far these animated things have come along.
Or do you think they just phoned it in? Maybe they did it for like a quarter of the price of 2004 graphics.
Because if you watch the first one and then the second one, that could be quite jarring if you watch them back to back, if they're supposed to be set at the same time, as you're saying.
Well, look, come on, it's not going to be... I've seen material from this. It's not suddenly photorealistic. It still looks like them.
Yeah.
But the quality and the textures are a lot more impressive. Because like you said, watching it last night, it's the complexity in his face. It was all smooth, just smooth skin. The hair was static. The backgrounds weren't very well developed. So it's all the little things that actually... you don't quite notice, but that flesh out an animated world.
And also, speaking of fleshing out an animated world, we did want to say one more thing last night watching it. It was just really, I found it really annoying how skinny and like the women's bodies were like matchsticks, and the men were like huge. Well, particularly the main character, obviously.
To be fair,
like a huge triangle.
Mrs. Incredible has quite a curvy body.
Yeah, but you say that, Dave, but like, look at her. She's not actually, like, I don't know what kind of curves you're talking about, but you're talking about, like, okay, one part of her is as skinny as a pencil, and the next part of her is as skinny as, like, maybe a pen.
Now, there's one troublesome character who's the silver-haired
baddie,
spy baddie, whatever. Who is an actual pencil.
Yeah, like, it just annoyed me. But come on, this is the longest intro we've ever done.
All right, okay, come on.
We've turned it into a review of Incredibles 1, so we're not going to talk about that again, I promise.
We're heading in now. We'll see you soon to chat Incredibles 2.
Part 2.
Incredibles 2 Part 2?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
They split the sequel into 2 parts.
It's time to make some wrong things right. Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Better than me?
Whoa! I like Mom's new job! Bye, sweetie.
I'll watch the kids, no problem.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this
I don't
way.
know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
Okay,
Math
Dad.
is math. Hello?
Hey, honey. How are the kids?
Everything's great.
Is she having adolescence? And Jack?
He's in excellent health.
Right, we're back. We've seen Incredibles 2. We're walking home.
I've seen most of Incredibles 2.
Yeah, Cathy had to leave.
As I said, it was a really nice family event, and it was so sweet when we got there. They had all these things, including people dressed up as the superheroes for kids to pose with, all of which we missed because we had a baby toilet emergency. And then during the movie, just towards the end, right when it was getting really good, our baby Oscar got a bit upset. I think it was very loud for him. So, because usually we go to like a parent baby screening, but this was just like a normal screening. So anyway, I took him out because
it was a children's screening.
It was a children's screening. Yeah, it was a family screening.
We didn't just bring. We're not those people who bring
not.
babies into normal everyday screenings.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
We were specifically told it was fine to bring.
I was really enjoying it, but I missed the final act. So anyway, Dave's seen it all, and I've seen most of it.
Yeah. So let's give a quick synopsis for anyone who doesn't know what Incredibles 2 is. It's the sequel to The Incredibles. Picks up exactly where the last one finishes.
So if you don't remember where the last one finishes, like me, you need a whispered and hurried explanation from your partner on this.
Yeah, but also it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You pick it up. I don't say you don't need to have seen the first one, really. And then it's sort of the general plot is that superheroes are illegal, and this time Mrs. Incredible, or Elastigirl gets the opportunity to do some secret undercover superhero work instead of Mr. Incredible. So they've sort of gender swapped, and as such, he's the stay-at-home dad. And that's the kind of general plot of the thing. Cathy, what did you think of the movie as a whole, or not as a whole, as a
as
whatever,
a 4/5?
4/5 of whatever you saw.
Well, first of all, it was funny having watched some of the new one last night. I'm having 2 half views of these movies, and going straight into this one, yes, you could see the difference in animation, but they kept it very close to the original, to be fair. It wasn't hugely jarring, but you could see the difference. So a couple of opinions on it. First of all, I was enjoying it a lot more than I enjoyed the first one. Don't know why, actually. Maybe because I was seeing it in the cinema.
I know, because you were sitting on the couch on your phone last night paying it no attention.
No, but I'd seen it before that as well. So last night I was just a rewatch. But yeah, I was actually enjoying it. I really like the mom character, and I liked her again. I preferred
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter, yeah, she does such a good job. I don't know how I felt about the dad's plot being that he was at home and struggling with kids and feeling emasculated by his wife's career success, because I don't know if that's a message we should be showing young kids, because theoretically, of course, that's a societal issue and everything's shifting now, and women can be breadwinners too and men can be the stay-at-home parent, and that's a completely normal way of life now, and it usedn't to be. So of course, if something's like set in the 60s, which this kind of is in a kind of a parallel world, it would have been an issue then. But I think for kids these days, it's not an issue in the first place, so why introduce it as a problem? Like, why would you have kids watching it thinking, oh, that's an unusual situation, that the mom's gone out to work and the dad has to mind his kids? Like, they've posited it as an unusual situation. So
I disagree.
Well, anyway, I don't know how I felt about that, but putting that aside, I actually found it really sweet, the stuff with the dad and the kids. So
I actually disagree with you. I don't think the movie says this is a weird, freaky situation. A dad at home. That's not at all what happens.
The whole joke of the movie is that the dad's at home with the kids.
That's not the case. The dad, yes, it's where they find inherent conflict for his character, because that's out of his comfort zone. But because that character has been the breadwinner and they've shifted it. It's not, the movie's not saying, oh, isn't this weird? And society says that this is different, and this is. Nobody's saying that. They've just swapped positions.
It's implicit that it's weird. But anyway, as I'm saying, I enjoyed that stuff anyway with him and the kids, to be honest.
I think you're adding sort of some sort of thematical context that the film hasn't really added. I think they've just taken that as a scenario that would put the dad character in an uncomfortable situation, and they played with that.
Okay,
I agree.
But I'm just stating my opinion.
The Incredibles family themselves, even in the first one, were very archetypal sort of 60s nuclear family anyway, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Okay, so we can. I'm just saying that's what I think was posited, that was unusual for a dad to stay at home with the kids. And then the other thing I found about it was, I don't think there's much depth to it. So a lot of the Pixar movies, they're really universal, and they they tackle like kind of very interesting issues for children. And they're, as I said, like, you know, can be very visually interesting. And again, for me, those things lacked in this movie, albeit I was actually really enjoying it. And when Oscar did get upset and I had to leave, which is like right at the climax, I was like, even though I'd signed, I knew what the twist was going to be. I thought, I guessed the whole movie, because Dave told me afterwards what all the things I guessed actually were what happened and what I'd missed. But I was really enjoying seeing how. Thank you. Sorry, someone's letting us cross the road. I was really enjoying it, and I was like genuinely disappointed to leave the cinema with like 20 minutes to go, whereas last night I had turned it off and not cared. So do you know what, I think it's a good kids movie. It is violent. I didn't catch the classification, but I'm guessing it's PG. And I definitely wouldn't recommend it for young kids, because I think it is a violent movie. But I did enjoy the family dynamics, and I enjoy the stuff with the baby. There's some really cute scenes with the baby, and our baby was loving those things. Like, he was laughing and shouting. He loved those. So I thought they were really sweet. And one thing I find about the characters is that the little boy character is so annoying. Like, I didn't enjoy watching him on screen.
Yes, but as a counterbalance, if you're a young boy, you'd like him because he's cool and smarmy.
Maybe, yeah.
He's Bart
Simpson, yeah. He is Bart Simpson, which is funny because Brad Bird worked on The Simpsons, right?
But it's interesting. He did, yeah. But it's interesting because you're right to point out that character, because they give him nothing to do, really.
He's just like an annoying little bird, like pecking on a window kind of thing.
I think.
So what did you think of it? Because we haven't obviously discussed it yet.
I actually agree with you exactly in what you said a minute ago about there's no depth to this, but it's enjoyable. I really had a fun time with it. I thought it's really slick. All the superhero fight scenes are really well done.
Yeah, they're really well done. Like, I love all the ice stuff was awesome.
In particular, all the stuff you missed was amazing.
Oh, thank you for rubbing it in. While I was outside feeding a baby.
The whole big third act fight scenes, all very well choreographed, and it's one, you know, they've learned from the way that I think the Marvel superheroes movies in particular, I'm thinking Avengers, Captain America Civil War and all these things where you've got 10, 20 superheroes and they're all fighting and they all have different powers, and they've sort of written all those powers into a contextual sort of plan or plot. So you use your ice to do this, and then I'm going to pick up this thing, and then you use your super fast thing to do this. It's exactly what I love about superhero films and teamwork and working together, and it's very, very well choreographed. So excellent action scenes, like brilliant, and you'd expect no less from Brad Bird. But I agree with you. There's very little under the surface here to scratch away with. The movie tries to have some political points a little bit, or to try to have something to say about society. The villain, without giving too much away, is he's called Screen Slaver, and it's all about, you know, he hypnotizes people through screens. And there's a sort of a societal sort of commentary there on how we're all staring into smartphones all the time and we're all obsessed with screens, and it kind of wants to have something to say about that, but ultimately doesn't say anything about that. It just it gives you that little commentary in society that we're all aware of anyway, and then doesn't have any resolution to that. And the same thing goes for the dad plot. I've said I disagree with you in that I don't think the movie's presenting that as an unusual situation. I think it's recognizing that it's a very common situation in the 14 years that has passed since the first movie, and it's using an everyday situation like that in its movie to create an uncomfortable scenario for its protagonist, or for Mr. Incredible. And I think that it plays all that stuff very well, and I really loved all the stuff with him at home. That it's very cute and relatable for anyone who's a parent. You know, all the stuff that was happening with the baby as he was wrestling with the baby and trying to get it to bed. I've been there, you've been there, I literally was like wrestling with Oscar, who was trying to escape from my clutches as Mr. Incredible was going through
I know,
the same
that
thing.
was funny.
So it was kind of like a 4D experience.
And there's a funny line in here, like, no spoilers, but and this is actually really funny because I've experienced this with both my parents, where the kid's trying to do maths homework and the dad's helping him, and the kid's like, but that's not how we solve the problems, we have to solve them this way, and the dad's going, but you can't change maths, like, you're not allowed to change maths. And it's like, oh yeah, you don't do it that way, you do it this way now. I mean, there was definitely, you felt like a lot of the scenes, the way they've been written, including when he said, like, I just need some me time, which is literally something I've said a few times in the last few months, you know, it felt very realistic of someone who's spending all their time with kids. But so I think we both enjoyed it. To sum up before we get to Spoiler Street, we both enjoyed it. It's never going to be a Pixar classic, albeit it's doing very well at the box office, and young kids will enjoy it.
I didn't cry, which I did at Coco, and I've done it Inside Out.
I mean, it's no Coco. It's no Coco.
If you think of, you mentioned, what was the one you mentioned?
Toy Story?
Earlier. No, the one that had, but no, you didn't mention that. But Inside Out is a good example where that's got a very clear, lovely message for kids, which is it's okay to be sad, it's important to be sad, and that sadness is like a vital part of a healthy mind. This movie, I mean, what does it have to say? What's it teaching children? I would kind of say nothing, or at least there's nothing really apparent to take away.
It's kind of teaching them to, like, it's okay to break the rules sometimes if you're with your family, and I don't know if that's actually the right message to be sending.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's. I think what it is it's just more of it's essentially a surface level action superhero movie. That's what it is, and it's a funny thing that it's exploring, like all superhero things explore, and particularly things like Civil War, where like, should superheroes have free reign to do whatever they want? And I would always think no. So I'm never on board of the characters who think that superheroes should be allowed to do what they want, because I think that's silly, because a baddie can be in a superhero costume as well as a goodie. But let's get to Spoiler Street, because I really wanted to discuss some plot points.
Okay, so Spoiler Street now for The Incredibles 2. Here we are on Spoiler Street. Oh, look,
Street.
There's a house for sale.
It's beautiful.
On Spoiler Street. It's 1, 2, 3 Spoiler Street.
But so my main issue with the sequel now is, so this first movie ends on, okay, so the first movie, right, superheroes aren't allowed and they're banned, and it ends on the family all coming together as superheroes, and we think, oh, now they're going to fight crime and superheroes are going to be allowed. The second movie begins straight after that, and it's like, oh, superheroes are illegal and you all have to go undercover again. So what was the point of the first movie then?
It quickly undoes everything that
happened. Undid the first movie within 3 minutes of the second movie, which is pretty weird for a sequel, and just rendered the whole first thing pointless. Cause
no, to be fair, I mean, it's not like the sequel does establish that they saved the day, but there's still a bit to do. You still have to undo legislation and all that. There's still a road to get there.
Yeah,
now, I agree with you, though. It's a little bit of a reset.
It's a complete reset.
Yeah.
So I thought that was silly. And I thought, like, they explored quite well at the start, like, all the damage the dad did, and how much, like, for example, like, the dad tries to stop a bank being robbed and in the end causes way more damage, and the bank said, would you just have left it alone and our insurance would have covered it? And I really do think that, like, the dad, like, why would Mr. Incredible go to all that effort to stop a bank robber? Like, who cares? Like, that's not saving people from a burning building. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that was his job. He just stopped crime. It's that simple, and that's what superheroes do. But I just didn't empathise
with him, and I just thought, well, actually, yeah, he shouldn't have free reign, because he's he's terrible at his job. And I like the way when the corporation came along and offered a job to Elastigirl, and they say, like, quite rightly, she's actually better at the job because statistically she doesn't, like, cause all that damage and cost all that money. She's more of the subtle behind, like, not behind the scenes because she's at the forefront, but she's like the subtle, like, she's the brains of the duo. And I really enjoyed them kind of saying that, and him and his reaction.
It was interesting watching him have to deal with that.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And I just, again, the body sizes, the body types really annoyed me. The way, like, the women have these, like, teeny waists, and then, like, when they're in the costumes, like, these, like, huge bums and boobs. And I just think it's a shame. It's a shame to be showing that kind of idealized, fetishized body type to young girls and young boys, and I just don't like it. And the opposite of, like, the really muscular men, including the little boy who's a little boy. He's actually got muscles, and I just think you're showing images to very young, susceptible children who think that that's maybe what their body type should be.
Do you think that Elastigirl was sexualized? I don't think so.
No, I think the body shape they're positing there is an idealised body shape of a teeny waist and big boobs and a big bum and skinny
the waist
ankles.
Is disproportionate, but in the first one as well, that they, she's supposed to have sort of like a middle-aged mom body, I think. So she's got a big bum, and she's...
No, but it's with the tiny waist and the tiny ankles. And,
I know,
like,
it is. But
and the young girl is so
also,
skinny.
It is a cartoon.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if you look deeper at what they're showing, it's for young boys and young girls. They're, like, kind of fetishized, perfect ideals of bodies for those genders, and I don't think that's right.
But they're not. He's flabby.
No, but the young boy is
muscly,
and the young girl's really thin. And I just don't agree with show. I don't know why they're drawn like that. Why can't they just both be normal? Like, why do they have to be extremes? Like, I personally, when Oscar's older, this isn't a movie I'd be rushing to show him.
I mean,
I don't know what would be in it for him.
I kind of see your point, and I think that's it's important to have these conversations in society. But if you think, I don't really see these ones in particular as a massive issue compared to where we were 10 years ago, where you had the Bratz dolls and things
I'm not saying it's worse than them. I'm just saying it's not better than them.
This is a step forward. I personally didn't see a huge problem with it, but maybe it's just because I'm part of the system. It's a systemic problem.
Well, you're just probably not as aware of body shapes as I am.
No, basically, I'm just used to having such an awesome body.
You're so muscly.
I mean, this is a podcast,
yeah.
So you've probably most of you aren't able to see my six pack right now, which I'm showing off to this whole street.
Yeah.
But I am pretty ripped.
But they're just a little bits that annoyed me. But my favourite sequence for sure was when we were discovering all the baby's powers. That we saw like 2 really good scenes of that, and I love that.
When he's fighting the raccoon.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, that was. Do you know what? That really elevated it. I thought that was really fun.
The baby. I mean, that's what Pixar is best at, isn't it? Like
creative.
When they animate, when they strip away dialogue, strip away everything, and then make humanize the baby. Well, it is a human, but like all the baby's little mannerisms were so cute and funny and recognizable. And they do the same with like the dog from Up or all of that. It's like they use stuff that we know about everyday creatures and then times 100, and then put them in funny situations.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the baby I love that little touch. Like the detail in this movie is top notch, and it was the same in the first Incredibles. The way Jack is watching this crime fighter, and then he's got a burglar mask on, which looks exactly like the raccoon's mask.
Yeah, that was
really
cute.
He takes that on as his. I think it's this way, isn't it?
No, this way.
And then he takes that on as sort of his fight, and it was an amazingly choreographed fight scene
brilliant.
as well.
It was my favourite bit of the movie, and you know what it harks back to for me? Another movie that I enjoyed more than I should have was Boss Baby. I really like seeing the unexpected of like a baby fighting a raccoon. Like that's way more fun to me than a big superhero fighting a big villain. You know what I mean? It's like that's the fun, that's the unusual bit. And this is like a Pixar movie. I can see enough. I can see superhero movies. We
both loved Boss Baby, and go back and listen to our Boss Baby review, because I think that's a movie that most people just dismissed offhand, and as did I, having watched the trailer.
But then when
it
you
was
actually
a total
watch
surprise,
it, yeah.
and it was great fun. So give it a chance on wherever you can watch it.
But yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I think you made a point earlier though about this, the reset, that they just kind of at the beginning of this movie just reset everything.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the plot of this is very much just a retread of the first one. They just swapped. They just it's the wife going through it instead of the husband. It's an exact retread, and the only difference is that he's aware of what she's doing, whereas in the first one it was a secret. Mm-hmm. Even to the point where the twist is that the people who hired them to do the mission, or one of them, is the evil person behind the whole thing,
which is
the
so
exact
obvious.
same. I'll tell you why it was so obvious, because and you can apply this formula to any movie. If there's 2 characters, when you only need one of them's evil.
Yeah.
Like, why was there a brother and sister character?
And also,
otherwise, for one of them to be evil.
I like the way the sister then kind of took the piss out of Elastigirl, because she said, Elastigirl's like, I trusted you, and she's like, why? Because I sang your theme song at you and gave you money. It's like they trusted these people so quickly. It was absolutely hilarious. So I did enjoy that line as well.
I think I spent most of the movie trying to figure out, the beginning anyway, whether it was the brother or the sister who was going to betray them, or both. It had to be the
sister, because she was too cool, and the brother was like such a geek for superheroes.
Yeah. Play Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul.
Oh, I was wondering who did his voice.
Yeah, really great voice.
Actually, he looked a bit like him now that I think of
the animation. They did model him a little bit on it. Yeah, he was great.
But yeah, so I think look, it's a summer blockbuster. It's doing really well in the box office. It's definitely, I'd say bring any kid over the age of 7 or 8 to it. It's fine.
It's really fun.
But it's not. I don't know. It's fine.
We're doing that part of recommending it after people have already seen it, presumably.
Yeah.
But you're right. I emotionally connected way more with the short film.
Oh, the short film! That's what we need to talk about.
Which was absolutely lovely. It was called Boa, I think.
Oh, it was so cute.
And it was very much
one of the best shorts they've done in a very long time.
Well, it felt like it was very much trading on the success of one of the other previous shorts, which I can't remember, which was a little Indian boy with his in his parents' house, and he was obsessed with superheroes.
Oh yeah, that was sweet.
And that was so. I liked that.
I liked that it was a Chinese family, and it was so emotional. Like let's not even tell the plot of it, but we both were bawling, crying by the end.
But we say if somehow you didn't see the the short. Spoilers now for the short, because I think let's just discuss that very quickly. Because
Yeah.
presumably you've all seen it if it's running in front of this.
It's beautifully animated. It's like about a Chinese family, and it's really just exploring a kid leaving home and the impact it has on, in this instance, on the mother, but on the parent. And it was just like that got like we were both crying at the end of that, and that was like not even 10 minutes long, and we're both completely unmoved by the whole movie then, you know. And it kind of just showed it up a bit, and for me that movie was like Pixar at its best. It was so visually creative. It was like exploring all the beautiful Asian food. It was like a really creative concept
the
around
food looked amazing.
how her
It
like
looked
dim
real.
sum was like a baby and she was eating her baby. Like it was just really creative and funky, and for me it was like, oh, that's what you know, that's what Pixar is. That's really cool.
Exactly, but that movie had something to say. Not only it had an emotional punch because it was relatable, because it was about a mother's relationship to their child, and how eventually if you have to let them go, or eventually she swallowed him whole and then he disappeared. You know, she smothered him too much, literally.
And it was so cute. Like I felt like the kids in the audience were like laughing along at that more than any reaction there was to The Incredibles.
It was great. The little dumpling boy trying to go play football.
It was so cute.
Like, that's brilliant.
I loved it. So yeah, I think that's definitely one of the best shorts they've done in a while, because the shorts have kind of dropped off a bit really in terms of quality.
And not a word of dialogue.
No.
Like, I mean, that's masterful. Like,
and it felt like a
silent
real passion
movie making.
project. And at the end, they were like, you know, the makers of that film were like, this is, you know, this. It said something like, thank you so much for helping us on this journey to all these people. You know, it just felt like a really, like a beautiful passion project. But I think we've said enough about The Incredibles. I don't think there's much left to say, and it's way too hot to be walking around with the buggy.
Yeah, total heat wave here, as you probably all know.
So hot.
All right, well, let us know if you found any sort of subtext to this movie. Because I'd love to hear a great sort of reading on this, because I think it was very surface level, very fun, enjoyable, but sort of it's just come and gone for me.
And I want Pixar to go back and make an original movie and not be making these kind of sequels that, like, at the end of the day is doing well, but like we said, we don't think anyone was looking for it.
We got Coco last year. To be fair, I think there's more on the horizon, so they're still doing great work.
I think they tend to do like one sequel and one original every year, isn't it? They kind of
I mean, look, this is where the money is, and I mean, it's clearly this is a runaway success in America.
And it was a huge event today. Like, the kids were all so excited. There was people in superhero costumes. Like, it was a really nice family day.
Oh, quick answer as well to the question we posed at the beginning, which was, are kids really aware of this property? Totally. I was overhearing even before we went in. We were overhearing, like, they knew all the names. They were like, "Oh, it's Elastigirl!" Oh,
so cute. Yeah.
It's like they like the kids were very excited.
I can't believe we missed, like, there's like literally people in these costumes, like fully like the cartoons. Like, we would have got the best photo for Oscar if he was into this movie, if he was older. And then no, we spent the whole time looking for a baby changing toilet and missed the whole lot of it. It's so difficult.
We're living that movie.
We are. But listen, so thank you for listening. I don't know why I said but listen, because I'm trying to end this because it's so blimming hot.
All right, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to us if this is your first time listening. Head to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review if you wouldn't mind. You can find us on Acast or wherever you're listening to podcasts if you're not already on those things.
Yes, subscribe to us. And we are on social media. So we're on Instagram, where we have lots of fun with Instagram stories. Dave has lots of fun with Instagram stories. We're on Twitter and we're on Facebook. So
at
thanks.
The Cinemile.
At the Cinemile.
And we're the Cinemile.com.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy the weather.
What the? Cookie. Cha-cha want a cookie. Num num cookie. Cha-cha want a num num. Num num cookie. Cookie.
You're not.
Cookie.
Oh my God.
Cookie.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So he can still hear you
From the other dimension, yeah.
That is freaky.